Hey y'all. Hi. Welcome to How You Grievin, a podcast. How You Grievin? I'm your host, Malcolm. I want to say Malcolm G. We're gonna say Malcolm G. And today's episode is going to be titled How You Grieving at the Funeral. And I'm going to share my aunt passed, and her funeral was the 16th. So I had to fly to Connecticut. Now let me tell you about my aunt real quick. And I'm gonna tell you how she's my aunt. So my mom's best friend, Roz, is my godmother. But also, I know if you listen to my podcast, you know that there's a link between families, and we've coincidentally lost sisters or lost a sister and a grandparent roughly around the same time. And that's this family that we're deeply connected to. So my mom has been best friends with my godmother since before I can remember. And it's to the point where like we live right next door to each other. So like my window will be open and I will be yelling my little cousin, Britt, or Marquia, y'all coming outside? And then along with this, we grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, and Charlene, or Asha, as I got older, I called it Chi Town. We would, when we were kids, we would walk to Charlene's house because Charlene had Kenny Brown. Now, I didn't realize that we were really just saying this boy's full name. It was just so normal to me until this woman, Bev, spoke at the funeral and was like, I don't know why we called that boy by his full name all the time. Kenny Brown, Kenny Brown, Kenny Brown. So we would walk to Kenny Brown's house, well, Charlene's house. She would never know we was coming, and we would just show up. And we would be like, we'll just walk in. And if she was cooking, we was eating. And I want to say that again. If she was cooking, we was eating. But throughout her life, she had, health experiences that are common in some and common in none. And recently, she had, I believe, her second kidney transplant. I'm not sure about the previous surgery she was having, and she passed shortly after that. But I hadn't seen her in like a year or two. But I remember the last time I saw her, and we would talk on like TikTok every now and again. She would like a post. I'd be like, "Hey, Asha." Um, but she also has Kenny Brown passed while I was here in Atlanta a long time ago, and she has two twin daughters, and then she has a daughter that is not a twin. And like when I tell you I'm so connected to this family, and it's not a family, we don't talk all the time. We don't see each other all the time, but it's a known understanding. It's a connection. It's just family. It just is what it is. Um, so I'm connected, and I'm gratefully connected to the family. So I was already going to be gone from work because I had to go to Florida for some things. And then she passed, and I was already coming to Connecticut because my best friend it was her birthday, but I wasn't going to be in Connecticut till that evening. So I ended up having to take the day off when she passed. I was like, oh no, I'll be in Connecticut Thursday. Because I just wanted to see them and put my eyes, put these paws on them and just to check in. So I was there. First, I needed to check on my mother because this woman's been in her life the entire time. It was pretty much her sister, right? So I wanted to check on my mom, and then I also wanted to check on her best friend, aka my aunt, aka my godmother. Um, and while I was there, I think it was kind of surreal to me because I mean she's had a couple of health scares, and if you listen to me, you know that I know people are going to die. And you know that I accept that people are going to die. But I think ever since my sister died, I either just go into shock and don't grieve. And I'm asking other people how they grieve, right? But I go into like this weird space of like, okay, it's a weird space of acceptance. So the theme of the funeral was dinner. Okay. And it's pretty interesting because when she passed, I was like, I know the theme is gonna be dinner. This service. I just know that. Because when I tell you this woman was fly, hands down. Okay. Oh my God. And real quick, the last thing I know I was telling y'all this, but I got sidetracked. The last memory I have of Aunt Sha is us at my godmother's house, her sister, Roz, my mom's best friend, teaching me how to fry gizzards the way she fries gizzards. And she boils them first, but I cannot get that boil down. I can't get the boil down so they could be nice and tender like the ones she made me. So I gotta practice that. I've been practicing though. I still didn't get it right. And also this ain't the last memory I have of her, but this is one of the memories. She would fry pork ribs, baby. There is no other that can fry a pork rib like that. Um, so she was known for cooking and she was known for her great spirit. And one of the things another thing I remember about her was that walk. The walk. She had a gangster walk. It was a walk of, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I love life. And I'm a gangster. And it was just the walk. I know when the family listens to this or sees this, can y'all break the walk down to me? Where did the walk come from? Could somebody break that down for me? Um, so the day of the service, I was supposed to meet up with one of my really good friends. She was going to ride with us, but she ended up not being able to make it. So I rode with my mom, my godmom, and Kenny. Now, oh Kenny, you need therapy. Kenny's hilarious. Kenny is that man that somebody needs to put on TikTok so we can see what foolish things he's doing. Move this candle over. I think a little too close to me. Um, so we ride there, we get there, and we walk up the stairs of the church. Now it was at St. Matthew's in Hamden, Connecticut. Well, no, it's in New Haven on Dixwell. And they got about 1,000,000 stairs to walk up. So we walk up the stairs to see the family, and I'm kind of like, oof. So me and my mom go sign the book. She signed the book for the Furlough family. I signed the book for the Gaddisons. That's just what Black folks, that's what we do at services. Um, and you can see that the viewing was pretty much over. I don't go to viewings anymore. It's just not what I do. Um, so we ended up going back downstairs because the family's coming. So all the family needs to be outside. So we're waiting on the rest of the family to show up. Now, one of the family members are having a rough time. One of the daughters, which is understood, and it is what it is. So we were waiting on one of the twins. And once they got there, we walked in. And I am like, all right, so we're going to walk in a little after so for the family come. That's me. My mother's like, I'm trying to be behind Roz. And I'm like, well, I guess I need to be behind everybody else to make sure everybody else all right. So come on, Mom, let's go. Now we are the family, but me, the way I think, I'm like, let's just let everybody else walk in a little bit more, a little bit further. But no, that's not what happened. So we walk in, and the first thing you get to do when you walk into a Black funeral is see the body. Now, I like to remember people how they are, specifically because my sister did not look the same at all. And it was because of a lot of things that happened to her in the hospital. So I don't like to see bodies anymore. It just, I be trying my best to sit out, but I seem to always be by my mother's side to make sure she's okay. So that's what I did. Because that's just what it is. Sometimes you got to put your big boy pants on and you just got to go for it and be like, okay, this is it. So I did not want to see Charlene that way, but I am glad I did because she had this beautiful white shimmery suit on. The thing was shiny as a mug. It was beautiful. And I believe it was a blue shirt underneath. I can't recall. But what I wanted to make sure I paid attention to was the glasses she had on, was the and then I wanted to look at her hands because prior to that, they told me that they had did something with her son, and I was like, "Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow." So there was this necklace or chain with a picture probably about this big of her son, Kenny Brown, and I was just like, "Oh, that is beautiful." Because I know a goal of us grievers is to be with the ones that are no longer here. That's just what it is. So it was a full come to circle moment to realize that she was finally going to be with her son. And I just thought that was beautiful. So the family didn't sit in the front row. Like, that main row when after you view the body, you walk by and come on, you typically hug the family and just give them your condolences and give them a kiss on the cheek. That was not allowed to happen. Thankfully, though. So we were able to just walk to our seats and just sit down. I'm sitting next to my mom, and I always have my arm around my mother because that's my baby. Um, and the service was beautiful. And some of the stories that were told were hilarious. I know my cousin Britt got up and was like, "That's my Aunt Sha." I don't know. They don't know how they're gonna go on, but you find a way. And one of the twins, now I call them one of the twins because I'll be struggling in between Erica and Aaron. Now I don't want to put y'all on blast, but I'm sorry, I do be struggling. I'll be struggling in between. That's just what it is. Sometimes I can't tell them apart. So when I be around them, y'all don't know this, but I be like, who that? This has been going on for years. I have another set of cousins in my family. They're Brittany and Brene, and I just call them Britt Brene when I see them. I'm like, hey, Britt Brene, because I don't know who's who. It's just my brain is just like, I don't know who's who. Tell me who you are. But the service was beautiful, and the comments that were made were beautiful. And I remember one lady got up and was like, who else am I going to talk to at this time now that Charlene is gone and be able to bond about losing a child? And I just was like, somebody could experience so much in life and be there for family, be there for friends, be there for grieving friends, still be a part of your graduating high school class of Hill House High, like, and still cook good and travel and make time for your grandkid. I guess that's what life is about. Being able to travel, make time, creating space for people that intentionally want to be there. Um, so I learned a lot. One of the things that I learned from her, I wish I would have been able to speak, but I got my own platform to do that, which is amazing, and I'm grateful. Um, but one of the things I wanted to say, I didn't write anything, but when I was younger, I remember her being in the car and her saying something to me, and I was like, "You're not my mother." And she was like, "Boy." Now I don't remember what happened after that. I know she knocked my behind out, or if she cussed me out, or if she rolled her eyes at me and was like, "Psst," I don't remember. So something must have happened that I don't remember. But in that moment, as I've gotten older, I realized she was one of my mothers at that time. She was a nurturer. She was somebody that really cared about me. For me to even say that was crazy, right? I had a crazy mouth when I was younger. I also was gotten a little bit more crazy now that I've gotten older and I'm single, but that's besides the point. But for me to assume and just say that, it meant that she was a mother figure. She cooked, she was a nurturer, she made sure everybody was okay. Then up until now. So what I learned was respect people that are higher figures in your life. Don't take them for granted, but respect them. And when you see them, show them love all the time. Ask about them. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And also, what I learned from her in this age is keep your faith. It's going to be what it's going to be. We all going to get to the pearly gates one day, some sooner than others. Um, but keep your faith. I heard everybody saying she just every time a family member would call her, she would say, "Just pray for them," or "Just pray," or "Just pray," or "Just pray." That's all I heard. It was just pray, just pray, just pray. So going forward in my life, I'm just gonna pray for them. I'm gonna continue, and I'm gonna be grateful for what I have now, for the health I have, for the things I'm capable to do, for the people that I am able to be there for the people that I'm able to show up for. And going to Connecticut for this funeral, for this passing, was extremely important to me because we're so closely bonded. It's like I started crying at the funeral when I saw my cousins in pain, like when I saw the sadness in my godmother's eyes, when I saw the sadness in my mom's eyes. I was sad, but she lived. She lived. So that's what got me, just the sadness that is going to overcome the life of those that she was a part of closely, daily. Um, but when I originally got to the house that night, we all were meeting up at her daughter's home, and I was outside drinking on the rocks, talking to my cousins. Some of us were outside, some of us were inside. And the one cousin that I was looking for showed up, and she just looked at me and she was like, she looked at me and she was like, "You flew up?" And we just hugged each other. And I was like, my exact words was, "You thought she wasn't auntie?" It is a beautiful thing to show up. I ain't got no tissue for family when they need you, when they need to see your presence, when they need to feel your spirit. So how you grieving at the funeral? How are you grieving when it's time to show up? How you grieving when you gotta fly in, when you gotta take that flight, when you gotta get in that car, that rental car, when the family member has to pick you up and they're just broken down? How are you grieving? How are you showing up when you gotta go to the house the night before the viewing, or when you gotta go to the house after they just viewed the body? How are you grieving then? I want to thank the Minders, right, for allowing me and my mom and my sister and just everybody to be a part of your family. I really wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't. So rest in peace to Chi Town, and I'll see you again. Thank you for listening to How You Grieving the podcast. Remember to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube. The YouTube, you can search the podcast How You Grieving, but everything is under My Black Self with 2Ks. One more thing I want to say. I never got to do the podcast of Grieving Mothers with Charlene, Roz, and my mother. And that hurts just a little bit because I know it was me that procrastinated. So I send my love to the family, and I send my love to whoever is listening. And ask yourself, how you grieving at the funeral? Thank y'all.